God is the good of all reality check. All things good and God as truth, right, are only stated one more positive than all negativity of them, okay? It's the only way anybody of anything anywhere can add up, stay, or be good as truth, and it's the only stated God of anybody of anything because you cannot destroy something more positive than negative. That is the good God and truth of it to reality check, only crossing bigger and better. I state that we are all children of God, okay? And as long as you state with the matrix of your existence, right, you're only here and now one more positive than all negativity. That is the good God and truth of your shape, form, and mass, right? And if you only state that way whenever crisscross with any negativity, you only cross one more positive than the negative of you. It's the only way you can add up, state, or be good as truth, as the God of you to the here and now of your reality check, a child of God. Jesus knew this. Jesus was a man, right, who was only one more positive than all negativity. He was good as the truth of God of him, right? And when they put him on the cross, right, the thief believed him, right, believed in him, and he stole his life back, him and Jesus, from that full of faith that crossed negative with negativity to one nothing, hung his life out to one negative nothing of him here and now, and all those fools of faith that put him on the cross. The only way you can be good with God as truth is to be one more positive than all negativity of you. It's the only way you can add up, stay, or be good as truth. And the thief was the one who rolled back the tomb, sent Jesus on his rightful, truthful way, alive and well, because you can't kill something more positive than negative. That is the good of God of it. As truth, the absolute bigger, better here and now of it, and the reality check of the thief and Jesus alive and well. Mary seen the thief. She said, "Where is he?" He said, "He went that way." She seen him shining more positive than negative. She gave him a kiss on the cheek, called him an angel, and this is how this story went. If you plug a plug into the wall, the positive better outweigh anything negative about that plug. Either that or you'll burn your house down, or you won't have enough energy to sustain your appliances. But as long as that plug is more positive than anything negative about it, there's zero chance you can burn down your house or you won't have enough energy to sustain. It's the same with your body. You're half male and you're half female. Only cross one more positive male than any female negativity about your matter, right? If you do that, right, it will only add you up good as truth. The only way you can add up, stay, or be good as truth, right? And there's a zero chance that you can be destroyed, suffer out of existence, decay, disintegrate, or die of that. There is a zero chance that your life won't only cross to an absolute bigger, better than the negativity for that. If you think about anything creation of existence, it's all made of atom matter, okay? And I don't care if it's one atom or a mountain of atoms, okay? If this atom matter evolved, it stated more positive than anything negative about it, good as the truth of God of it, right? You, me, the buildings, trees, anybody of anything, anywhere, it's stated good as truth and cannot be destroyed. If the earth or if the sun doesn't shine more positive, protonic, than anything negatively neutronic about the earth, right? No life as we know it to the reality check of mankind could exist or keep existing. If you don't shine more positive and protonic than anything negatively neutronic about your life won't exist or keep existing, because you're only expressed again here and now as a child of God, one more positive than all negativity that would not have you here and now, good as the truth of your shape, form, and mass of atom matter evolved, only crossing to an absolute bigger, better here and now of reality check, alive and well, more positive than negative. But if not, you are negative with the negativity. And the only way you can crisscross negative with negativity through your choices is through the faith of you. Anywhere on earth, it's not stated more positive than negative, right? Good as the truth of God of it through the reality check of mankind, right? It's only the faith of blind leading blind fools. And all faith is negatively deficient of only crossing one more positive than negative always. You're not expressed with good faith. You're expressed good as truth here and now to the reality check of your shape, form, and mass, only crossing more positive than negative. But if you don't know that, right, that the only good God and truth of you as a child of God is to be more positive than negative always, right? All you have is faith, and your faith is always negatively deficient of it, because it states that things cross bad, evil, and sinful. And if you had your house wired up, the outlets and the electrical of it, right, the positives and the negatives of it, and you stated the negatives, bad, evil, and sinful, instead of just negative, you'd burn your house down, or you'd come to some sort of destruction over it, because it's a false articulation on what the negative is. And you would never know, if you didn't know anything about electrical wiring, that that's just a negative that you have to connect more positive to always to keep your house good as true, so it won't burn down and you'll have enough energy to sustain. Inside all atoms are protons and neutrons, and on the outside of all atoms are the electron field. Now, any atom matter evolved that isn't you puts off its own energy, and depending on your polarity is depending on if you're absorbing it more positive or more negative to the good God and truth of your shape, form, and mass. Okay, and I'll explain. Like I said, on the inside of the atoms are protons and neutrons. The protons are 2 up quarks, 1 down quark, and the neutrons are 2 down quarks, 1 up quark. Okay. Now, as long as this proton, which is the Holy Spirit of the good God and truth of all things, because if it's more protonic and positive, it's stated good as truth, bigger and better than any negativity of it. Okay. But if not, it's just the reality check of negatively deficient neutronic with energy. See, a neutron cannot sustain its own matter. It has to always be overwhelmed more protonic. And the neutron is the soul and the matter of you. And on the outside of an atom, when it's not sustained more protonic, like I've said in other videos, it's in a constant state of radioactive decay and disintegration. And inside a neutron star, it turns into a pulsar, and over a volume of time and extremes, it collapses into a black hole abyss of its matter, where the neutron matter of it cannot sustain this erratic negative energy on it. And it's just infinitely 1-0 of the neutron star forevermore. And this is what you do to your body when you crisscross with faith. Okay? Because no faith is good as truth, or that's all we'd be for the faith of the world. But see, all faith states that things cross bad, evil, and sinful. Okay? And no faith only teaches to only cross all things negative about your life back one more positive. It's the only way you can add up, stay, or be good as the truth of God, as a child of God of you, only to an absolute bigger, better here and now of you, alive and well. You can't suffer again out of existence, decay, disintegrate, or die of Christ crossing that rightful, truthful way. No way. But when you don't, right, like I said, anywhere on earth, it's not stated more positive than negative by choice. It's just the faith of blind leading blind fools that don't know they always have to cross all negativity back one more positive, stating it bad, evil, and sinful. And when you do this to the reality of your life and your matter, right, it's a snake of negativity on the neutrons of you always, because no faith is good as truth, or that's all you'd be for your faith. And over a volume of time and extremes, right, when you crisscross negative with negativity with the faith of you, right, not programmed correctly to be good as truth always as a child of God, right, through this negative articulation of your faith, crisscrossing negative with it, you incarnate the she, he, shafting devil of all people, places, and things, right? And it's the bad, evil, sinful way of your matter, and eventually your matter can't sustain this negative way, and you collapse into a black hole abyss, just infinitely negative of you here and now, but the devilish hells of you forevermore, the one nothing of you here and now forevermore, a child of God, good as truth, more positive than negative. At one time, the earth was a true sister reflection of the Son of God, of all I am, with pyramids all over all, at every point in time and space, holy with the Spirit of God, of Allah of all, for everlasting peace I am. By expression and example, only a man one more positive than all negativity I am, good as the truth of God, of the Adamist man, the bonding Adam-man evolved of all I am. But it was he shafted by a snake god devil of faith. And when Shiva shafted the world with the Samael spirit of his faith, okay, at every point there was a pyramid, there was a God king. And even though we weren't created to die, right? It was such an extreme event on reality when he shafted the world, because if the world doesn't always stay more positive and protonic than anything negatively neutronic about it, depending on the extremes of it, it could wipe out anybody of anything. And this is what happened. Adam came to himself in the garden, and the men of old, right, and the God kings, which are the same, the men of old and the God kings, were he shafted by 1/3 of them rebelling with faith, okay? And in the garden, Shiva was the shafting god of Yahweh. He's Yahweh of faith. The menorah, right, is a Shiva lingam, a Jewish jip on all mankind, God, truth, reality check. It's Yahweh of faith. You'd be way off with the faith of it, because in reality check, these are all one same devil god of you. Because anytime any god you believe in, right, whether it be for God or country or for yourself, right, you say, well, this God says it's okay to conquer other peoples, or this God states it's okay, right, to cross you negative with negativity for any reason, right? It's not the good of God as truth of you, because God as truth is only expressed here and now one more positive than all negativity of him. And to be good with God as truth, a child of God, good with God as truth, is to be one more positive than all negativity about you, good as the truth of God of your life in reality check. But when you state with faith that things cross bad, evil, and sinful, right, you state negative with the negativity of you. And through this negative articulation, right, our governments, okay, they state that people, places, and things cross bad, evil, and sinful. And through God and country, right, they state victims, crooks, prisons, jails, wars, the conflicts, convicts of us. And their governance is not only unevolved, okay, with the faith of them, right? No good is truth. They're unqualified with their judgment and any biased laws of prosecutions that only state that way because I'm a father. If I have children, right, and I don't make sure as their overseer, they only have homes, a home, a way to eat, a proper education, a way to sustain. I'm neglecting my children. When your government, right, states you with prisons, jails, and wars, right, they're not the bigger, better of society. Nobody's ever became bigger and better as a whole for prisons, jails, and wars. No, they're the convicts of you because they're not only making all of all, only bigger and better good is true for you. They are the biased faith of the world, and this is how their ruling party stay rich, and the rest of the world, right, stays in balance from it. Okay? If you think that taking your children and locking them in their room for years and years at a time, right, or calling them bad, evil, or sinful is the positive, good God and truth of you, you're out your damn mind, and you're no kind of parent. You're the spawn of the devil. And this is the reality check of all faith of the world, where it's not stated more positive all around the world, right? Good as the truth of God of it by the leadership of mankind. It's just the negative faith of blind leading blind fools, and it's only negative to it. Okay? And it's the neutral of nothing. And Adam woke up into this garden, right, with Shiva at his rib, at his side, at all sides of him, right? And he couldn't get his bearings on reality. He was fully grown, and he was eons and eons old before the world was shafted. He was the God and the king of all reality check I am. Okay? And he couldn't get his bearings on reality, and he turned to the fruit of faith of Eve. And Eve came from a lesser people of Shiva. And the garden was the only hospitable place on earth at that point. And he took on the faith of Eve because he couldn't get his bearings on reality to always stay connected. Good is truth, right? To know that only cross more positive than negative because the world had become such an extreme place on him. And for some reason, he had lost the logic of the good truth of him. And he lived 930 years, and outside of the garden, it was in constant turmoil in a world that was desolate and destroyed by Shiva shafting it. And in reality check, when he took on this face, he cursed all mankind to present day, because if he would have just crossed Eve back one more positive, good as the truth of his example, bigger and better than all negativity by a standard, that'd be the only standard Cain and Abel would have lived by, right? And then the only standard all God, truth, reality check would be stated in. But he didn't, and this is why the world is the way it is today. And in reality check, if you look all over again, anywhere it's not stated more positive than negative by the leadership of it, good as the truth of its people only crossing bigger and better, it's not. And it's in a constant state of negative decay and disintegration. And that kind of leadership is not one with the God of you. It's the spawn of the devil of you. You hear me? Because it's not always only making your life as a child of God, right, only bigger and better than all negativity of it. The way you're supposed to be prescribed here and now. The only way that you are here and now, one more positive, right, than all negativity, good as the truth of God of you. The only way you can add up, stay, or be good as the truth of God of you is to stay more positive than negative. And without that example there, right, they're not crossing you a child of God. They're crossing you a spawn of the devil. God, again, is the good of all reality check. I am only one more positive than all negativity. That is the good God and truth of all reality check I am. And Jesus is the Son of God of all I am. Only one who is one more positive than all negativity, good as the truth of God of all I am. with the thieving Holy Spirit out, more positive, Adam and evolved than all negativity I am. The absolute bigger, better here and now, King Adamus of all mankind, God, truth, reality check I am. And YouTube, I'm putting you on notice. And anybody else who wants to come against me, I'm putting you on notice. That is a fact of God check of all I am. That's God, truth, reality check. From the fool, thief, man, God, king, Adam man, first evolved. I got my bearings on reality check. The God, truth, reality check of all I am. Peace.